Hello, welcome to the Learn English Lab.
Hi there.
Today we're embarking on a focused exploration to really pump up your English vocabulary.
Yeah, specifically targeting words that pop up frequently in the GRE.
Exactly. In this deep dive, our aim is to thoroughly examine the meanings, subtle differences, and, practical applications of another set of 100 GRE level words.
Right, building on our previous sessions, think of this as further strengthening your arsenal for tackling complex texts and expressing your thoughts with, well, genuine precision.
We've got a fascinating collection of words lined up for you today, each with its own story and way of being used. We won't just give you dictionary definitions, we'll also illustrate how they're used with clear examples and relatable situations you might actually encounter.
Yeah, the goal is to help you truly absorb these words and feel confident when you choose to use them.
And you can anticipate some genuine aha moments, I think, as we uncover the often overlooked but significant distinctions between words that might seem similar at first glance.
Absolutely. We'll also explore how these words function in a variety of contexts, from serious academic discussions, say, to everyday conversations.
All right, let's jump straight in. Our first word, debunk.
Okay.
This means to expose the falseness of a claim or belief. We often hear about scientists using solid evidence to debunk theories that aren't supported by facts, like the old claim linking vaccines to autism.
Right. And debunking misinformation is so important, especially online health advice,
Definitely. Fact-checking is key. What are some of the broader implications of being able to debunk things effectively?
That's a crucial question. In today's world, with information spreading so fast, the ability to debunk falsehoods has huge societal implications.
Like in public health.
Exactly. Debunking false claims about treatments can literally save lives. It's not just correcting facts, it's about fostering critical thinking, helping people evaluate what they see and hear.
That makes sense. But why do some myths stick around even after they're debunked?
That's a complex issue, isn't it? Sometimes it's about belief systems or repetition.
Okay, let's move on to declaim. This verb means to speak passionately, often formally, maybe even theatrically.
Like a politician speaking out against corruption, using strong rhetoric.
Yes, exactly. Can you think of other scenarios where someone might declaim?
Sure. College debates, maybe. Practicing for public speaking, like a TED Talk. Or even a lawyer giving a passionate closing argument.
Oh, good one.
It suggests conviction, a desire to make a strong impression.
So how is declaiming different from just, stating an opinion forcefully?
Well, declaiming often has that performative element, doesn't it? A deliberate, sometimes dramatic delivery.
I see. Okay, next up we have declivity. It's a noun.
Meaning?
A downward slope. You might find a steep declivity hiking in the Himalayas, for example.
Right, or even just navigating a steep hill.
Where else might this word be relevant? Not just nature, right?
No, think about urban planning. Engineers consider the declivity of roads for safety and drainage.
Ah, right, so water runs off properly.
Exactly. Even small slopes matter.
Does incline mean the opposite?
Yes, precisely. An upward slope.
Got it. Our next word is decorous, an adjective.
Meaning polite and in good taste.
Yes. Maintaining a decorous attitude at a formal dinner is expected. What are some other situations where decorous behavior is important?
Oh, definitely job interviews.
Good one.
Or think about diplomats at formal meetings. Their conduct reflects on their country. Even online, a decorous tone helps.
True. Is there a risk of being too decorous, though, like seeming insincere?
That's an interesting thought. Finding the right balance, I suppose.
Okay, moving on. We have deem, a verb.
To judge or consider.
Right. A teacher might deem an essay well-researched. How is deem different from just think or believe?
Deem feels more formal, doesn't it? It implies a considered judgment, a deliberate evaluation, maybe based on evidence.
So like a panel might deem a proposal the best one.
Exactly, after careful consideration.
Can you deem something without any evidence?
Probably not very convincingly. It implies a judgment.
Okay, next word. Deface.
To vandalize or spoil the appearance.
Yeah, like graffiti on a historic monument. That's defacing public property.
And it's illegal, of course. We need to preserve cultural sites.
What's the broader significance of laws against defacing property? Why do we care so much?
Well, it reflects a societal value on preserving spaces, public and private. It's not just the repair costs. Defacing something, especially culturally significant, diminishes its value, its impact.
It's about respect for shared resources too, I guess.
Absolutely.
Let's move to default.
Okay, failure to act or fulfill an obligation, especially financial.
Yes, that's the noun. And the verb is to fail to do so, like failing to pay a loan on time.
Right. That can lead to default. The 2008 financial crisis was heavily linked to mortgage defaults, wasn't it?
It was. What were some of those broader consequences?
Oh, huge. It triggered a chain reaction affecting banks, investment firms, the whole global economy. It really showed how interconnected things are.
And how individual defaults can have massive ripple effects.
Precisely.
What are some ways people can avoid defaulting on, say, credit card payments?
Budgeting carefully, seeking help if needed. Good financial habits are key.
Okay. Next, deference. A noun.
Meaning respectful submission to someone's authority or opinion.
Yes. Showing deference to someone with more experience is often seen as polite. In what kind of social structures is deference particularly valued?
You see it a lot in hierarchical structures. Traditional workplaces, the military, societies with strong respect for elders.
It helps maintain order.
It can, by defining roles, but, too much deference might stifle critical thinking or challenge.
Right. There's a difference between healthy respect and just blind deference, isn't there?
Absolutely. A crucial distinction.
Our next word is deflect.
A verb.
To turn aside or avoid.
Yeah. A politician might try to deflect a tough question about their voting record.
Or a goalkeeper deflects a shot.
Good example.
Any others?
Well, someone might use humor to deflect a tense moment, or change the subject to deflect an uncomfortable question. It works physically and verbally.
What are some common ways people deflect questions verbally?
Oh, answering a different question, bringing up something irrelevant, attacking the questioner. Lots of tactics.
Okay, let's look at deleterious. An adjective.
Meaning harmful or damaging.
Like the deleterious effects of smoking on health.
Oh.
What are some other areas where we talk about deleterious consequences?
The environment, definitely. Pollution's deleterious impacts. Or maybe the deleterious effects of too much screen time. Or poor diet.
It really emphasizes the negative, damaging aspects.
Oh, it does.
Is detrimental. Basically a synonym.
Yes, very close in meaning.
Good to know. Next up is delimit, a verb.
To define boundaries.
Right. A treaty might delimit the border between two nations. Where else is delimiting important?
In project management, delimiting the scope is crucial. Keeps things focused.
Prevents scope creep.
Exactly. Or in academic writing, you delimit your research topic. Even setting personal boundaries is a kind of delimiting.
Why is it so important to delimit the scope of a research paper?
Keeps you focused, manageable, and ensured you actually answer the question you set out to address.
Makes sense. Our next word is delineate, another verb.
To outline or describe in detail.
Yes. A report might delineate the steps needed to reduce emissions, for instance. How is this different from just describe?
Delineate feels more precise, more structured, like outlining distinct parts or steps clearly.
So, an architect delineating sections of a blueprint.
Perfect example. Or a scientist delineating the stages of an experiment. It emphasizes clarity and order.
Can you delineate something that isn't well defined to begin with?
That would be tricky, wouldn't it? Delineate implies bringing clarity.
Right. Next word, demagogue, a noun.
Ah, a manipulative leader who plays on emotions and prejudices.
Yes, often disregarding rational argument to gain power. History gives us some stark examples.
Unfortunately, yes, like Adolf Hitler.
What are some common tactics demagogues use?
They often use rhetoric that appeals to fear, anger, resentment, simplifying complex issues, creating scapegoats, making grand, unrealistic promises.
And social media seems to amplify them sometimes.
It can provide a huge platform, yes.
How can people guard against being swayed by demagogic appeals?
Critical thinking is key. Checking facts, understanding logical fallacies, being aware of emotional manipulation tactics.
Media literacy, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move to demur, a verb.
To object or show reluctance, often for moral reasons.
Right. Someone might demur at the idea of cheating on a test.
They hesitate, show reservation.
How does demur differ from a strong refusal, like just saying no?
Demur often implies a quieter, more hesitant objection, maybe based on principle or feeling uncomfortable. It's not always a flat no.
So it suggests weighing moral consideration.
Yes.
Is object a strong synonym?
Close, but demur really captures that hesitation, that moral reservation.
Got it. Our next word is denigrate, a verb.
To belittle or attack someone's reputation?
Yes. Critics might denigrate a new film by calling it unoriginal or poorly made.
Or online trolls denigrating celebrities. Or even colleagues denigrating each other's work, which harms teamwork.
What are the potential long-term effects of constantly denigrating others?
It damages relationships, creates toxicity, and ultimately reflects badly on the person doing it. It undermines trust.
How can we offer criticism constructively without denigrating?
Focus on the work, not the person. Be specific. Offer suggestions for improvement. Maintain respect.
Good advice. Our next word, denote, verb.
To be a symbol for or indicate directly.
Yes, the symbol denotes the ratio of a circle's circumference to its diameter.
Or a red traffic light denotes stop.
Simple enough. Other examples.
A dove often denotes peace. In language, words denote concepts or objects. It's about the literal, direct meaning.
How is that different from connote?
Connote refers to the implied or associated meanings, the feelings or ideas a word evokes, beyond its literal definition.
So denote is the dictionary, meaning connote is the baggage it carries.
Kind of, yeah. Good way to put it.
Okay, next is deride, verb.
To mock or laugh at contemptuously.
Right, an audience might deride a comedian whose jokes fall flat or seem outdated.
Like bullies mocking classmates. Or in debates, deriding an opponent to weaken their credibility.
What are the social consequences of public derision?
It can be really damaging to someone's self-esteem and reputation. Creates a climate of fear, discourages risk-taking. It's often just cruel.
How does derision differ from, say, playful teasing?
Intent and impact. Derision aims to belittle and hurt, often punching down. Teasing is usually lighter, between people who know and trust each other.
Understood. Our next word, derivative, an adjective.
Meaning not original, derived from something else?
Yes. A movie plot might be called derivative if it feels too similar to classic sci-fi films we've all seen.
Or think about smartphone designs. Many have been called derivative of the iPhone. Or academic research that doesn't offer much new.
Is being derivative always a bad thing in creative fields?
Not necessarily. All art builds on what came before. Sometimes a fresh take on an old idea works. But if it's too derivative, lacking any originality, it feels uninspired.
What are some ways artists can be inspired by older works without just copying them?
Reinterpretation, adding a unique style, combining influences in new ways. It's a balancing act.
Okay, next word, desiccate. A verb.
To dry out thoroughly.
Like a desert sun desiccating an oasis.
Or preserving food by drying it out, like dried fruit or jerky.
Practical applications. Any others?
Scientists use desiccators to dry samples, those little silica gel packets in packaging. They desiccate to protect from moisture. Even neglecting houseplants can desiccate them.
Right. How does desiccating preserve food? Scientifically.
It removes the water that microorganisms like bacteria and mold need to grow, which slows down spoilage.
Makes sense. Our next word is desultory. Adjective.
Lacking order or consistency. Off topic.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Lacking a plan, maybe rambling. A confusing speech that jumps between ideas could be desultory.
Or unfocused study sessions where you jump from topic to topic without really learning. Scattered conversations, too.
How can you avoid having, say, desultory meetings at work?
A clear agenda is vital. Stick to it. Maybe have someone facilitate to keep things on track. Otherwise, it's easy to drift.
What are some signs a conversation is becoming desultory? Nonverbal cues.
People looking bored or distracted, checking their phones. Frequent topic changes with no clear connection.
Okay. Next word. Detached. Adjective.
Impartial, disinterested, aloof.
Right. A judge needs to remain detached to ensure an unbiased ruling.
Or therapists giving objective advice, staying detached emotionally to help the patient, or staying rational during a tense negotiation.
Is it always possible or even good to be completely detached?
Probably not. Complete detachment might seem cold. While impartiality is key sometimes, like for a judge, empathy is important in other roles like healthcare or teaching. It's a balance.
How can someone aim for objectivity without becoming completely detached or uncaring?
Being aware of your own biases is a huge first step. Focusing on facts, but acknowledging the human element.
Okay. Our next word is deterrent, a noun.
Something that discourages an action.
Yes. High fines can act as a deterrent to illegal parking.
Or security cameras deterring shoplifting. Plagiarism policies in schools are deterrents too.
What about in international relations? What acts as a deterrent there?
Military strength is often seen that way. Or economic sanctions used to discourage certain actions. The idea is the potential negative consequences stop the action.
Are deterrents always effective, though?
Not always.
Yeah.
They rely on the other party making a rational calculation of risk versus reward, and that doesn't always happen.
True. Okay, next. Diaphanous. Adjective.
Very sheer, light, almost translucent.
Exactly, like a shimmering diaphanous veil.
Or certain fabrics, like chiffon used in evening gowns. Dragonfly wings have that quality too, don't they?
They do. It evokes lightness, delicacy.
Almost transparent.
Can you think of a metaphorical use?
Maybe describing a very subtle argument or an almost invisible distinction as diaphanous.
Ooh, interesting. Okay, next is diatribe, a noun.
A bitter, abusive attack or rant.
Yes, someone launching into an angry diatribe against a new policy they hate.
You see these online a lot, right? Social media rants.
Definitely. What makes a diatribe different from just a strong critique?
A diatribe is all about the intense emotion, the anger, often personal attacks. It lacks reasoned argument. It's condemning, not analyzing constructively. The language is usually inflammatory.
What's the goal of someone delivering a diatribe? Is it persuasion?
Often seems more about venting frustration, rallying the already converted rather than actually persuading opponents.
Okay, next word, dichotomy, noun.
Division into two contradictory parts.
Right, the dichotomy between work and leisure, for example, or good and evil.
Liberal versus conservative views, nature versus nurture, theory versus practice. Choosing between career and family sometimes feels like a dichotomy.
They help frame issues by highlighting contrasts. It's always helpful to see things as a strict dichotomy, though.
Often not. Reality is usually more nuanced, more of a spectrum. Dichotomies can oversimplify things.
Good point. Our next word is dictum, noun.
A formal pronouncement or a saying.
Yes. Like a coach's dictum, practice makes perfect.
Oh.
Or Steve Jobs, stay hungry, stay foolish.
Or judicial pronouncements, like in court decisions.
Exactly. In legal opinions, a dictum is a judge's statement that isn't essential to the ruling, but offers an opinion or interpretation.
So it's not binding, but maybe influential.
Right. Persuasive, but not precedent. Okay, next. Didactic, adjective.
Intended to instruct, often morally.
Yes. Like a novel teaching about environmental conservation. Many children's books have a didactic purpose, promoting values.
Teachers imparting knowledge are didactic too, in a way.
Can didactic content still be entertaining, or does it have to be preachy?
Oh, it definitely can be entertaining. Think of fables or parables, or films with a message. The key is often subtlety. If it's too heavy-handed, it feels preachy.
What are some films you think have a clear didactic message, but are still great movies?
Maybe something like WALL-E about consumerism and the environment, or films exploring social justice themes.
Good examples. Our next word is diffident, adjective.
Lacking confidence, shy.
Yes, a diffident student might hesitate to share ideas in class.
Or someone diffident might struggle with networking or public speaking.
How can someone overcome being diffident?
It often takes practice. Starting small, maybe in low-pressure situations, focusing on strengths, challenging negative self-talk. Getting positive feedback helps too.
Is being diffident the same as being humble?
No, diffidence is more about lacking self-belief. Humility is having a modest view of your own importance, even if you are confident.
Okay, distinction noted. Next, diffuse. This one's tricky verb and adjective.
Right. As a verb to spread widely, like perfume diffusing in a room.
Yes. Or information diffusing through social media.
And as an adjective, scattered, wordy, or widespread.
Correct. Like a diffuse, rambling speech that lacks focus.
What are the challenges with how diffuse information is online?
Well, it's hard to control the spread of misinformation, isn't it? It diffuses so fast it's hard to correct. And the sheer volume makes it hard to know what's reliable. How can you check reliability online?
Look at the source, check for corroborating evidence from other reputable sources, look for author credentials.
Good tips. Our next word is digress, verb.
To go off topic.
Yes. A professor sharing irrelevant personal stories during a lecture is digressing.
Or getting sidetracked in a meeting. It can confuse the audience if you digress too much.
When might it be okay, or even effective, to digress briefly?
Maybe for a quick, relevant anecdote. Or a touch of humor to lighten the mood, but you need to bring it back quickly.
How do you smoothly get back on track after a digression?
Use a transition phrase like, anyway, getting back to the main point, or, as I was saying.
Yeah. Next word, dilate, verb.
To widen or expand, like pupils dilating in dim light.
Yes. Or doctors using drops to dilate pupils for an eye exam. It also means to speak or write at length on a subject.
Ah, so you can dilate on a topic.
Exactly. Meaning you explore it in great detail.
Does that have a negative connotation sometimes, like being too wordy?
It can, yeah. Risking verbosity if you dilate too much.
Okay.
Next, dilatory, adjective.
Slow, procrastinating, intended to cause delay.
Correct. A dilatory response to an urgent deadline can cause problems.
Or using dilatory tactics in negotiations to stall for time.
What are some common reasons for dilatory behavior?
Sometimes it's just procrastination. Other times it's strategic avoiding a decision, obstructing progress.
What are some ways to deal with someone who's consistently dilatory?
Setting clear deadlines, regular follow-ups, maybe breaking tasks down into smaller steps.
Okay, next word, dilettante, noun.
Someone who dabbles superficially in something, without serious commitment.
Yes, someone trying painting just for fun, never really trying to improve, might be called a dilettante.
Or someone who knows a tiny bit about many subjects but has no deep knowledge.
Is there anything good about being a dilettante?
Well, exploring different interests casually can be fun, broadens horizons. But for real expertise, you need more commitment.
What's the difference between a dilettante and just a beginner?
A beginner is usually actively trying to learn and get better. A dilettante's interest often stays shallow.
Right. Okay, next word. Din, noun.
Loud, confused noise.
Yes, the din of a crowded market or a construction site.
Or the din at a loud music festival. Constant city traffic noise can be a din too.
What are the psychological effects of being exposed to constant din?
Stress, trouble sleeping, difficulty concentrating, even hearing damage. It really impacts well-being. That's why noise regulations exist.
How can we reduce the negative effects of a noisy environment?
Noise-canceling headphones help some people, creating quiet zones, earplugs.
Good ideas. Next word. Dirge, noun.
A funeral song or poem? A lament for the dead.
Exactly. A mournful song played at a memorial service, like Chopin's funeral march.
Or elegies in literature can be like dirges.
How does a dirge differ from just any sad song?
It's specifically linked to mourning the dead, often part of a formal ritual or ceremony.
What are common musical traits of a dirge?
Usually a very slow tempo, somber melody, minor key perhaps.
Okay, next word. Disabuse, verb.
To correct a mistaken idea, persuade someone they're wrong.
Yes, a teacher might need to disabuse students of the misconception that all bacteria are harmful.
Or a financial advisor disabusing clients of investment myths. Science correcting common misconceptions.
What are some good ways to disabuse someone of a firmly held false belief? It can be tricky.
Gently presenting clear, credible evidence helps. Avoid being confrontational. Maybe appeal to shared values or logic. Acknowledge their view first.
Why is it sometimes so hard to disabuse people of misinformation they found online?
Echo chambers, emotional investment, confirmation bias, lots of reasons.
True. Okay, next. Discerning. Adjective.
Having good judgment or insight. Showing good taste.
Yes. A discerning art curator can spot quality pieces. Or a discerning reader chooses insightful books.
What qualities does a discerning person usually have? Attention to detail, good knowledge in their area, ability to make subtle distinctions. They're often critical thinkers, forming their own informed opinions.
Is there a risk of being too discerning, like overly critical or picky?
Yeah, maybe. Finding the balance between good judgment and just being hard to please.
Next word. Discomfiting. Adjective.
Unsettling, confusing, causing awkwardness.
Yes. Receiving blunt but necessary feedback can feel discomfiting.
Or those awkward silences in conversation, or accidentally hearing people talk about you, witnessing someone else's embarrassing moment.
Yeah, those are all discomfiting. They disrupt social norms and create unease. How do people typically react?
Varies a lot, right? Some try to smooth it over with humor, others withdraw, some get defensive.
Okay, next. Discordant. Adjective.
Harsh in sound, or disagreeing.
Both. A band's performance might be discordant if they're out of tune or rhythm.
Or discordant opinions within a team can clash and hinder progress, like a dissonant note in music.
How can you handle discordant viewpoints in a group effectively?
Encourage respectful dialogue, active listening, try to find common ground or compromise, distinguish healthy debate from just fighting.
Can discordant sounds be used on purpose in music?
Oh, absolutely. Dissonance creates tension or a specific mood. It's a deliberate compositional tool.
Interesting. Next word. Discredit. Verb.
To damage the reputation of.
Yes. A scandal might discredit a politician, or plagiarism can discredit a researcher.
Fake online reviews can discredit a business too.
What are the long-term consequences of being discredited in your field?
It can ruin careers, destroy trust, make it incredibly hard to regain credibility, especially in fields built on reputation like academia or journalism.
How do people or organizations try to repair their reputation after being discredited?
Often involves transparency, apologies, taking responsibility, demonstrating change over time. It's a long road.
Okay, next word. Discrepancy. Noun.
A difference or inconsistency.
Yes, like finding a discrepancy between a budget report and actual expenses.
Or errors on a restaurant bill. Inconsistencies in scientific data that need investigating.
What causes discrepancies in data usually?
Could be simple human error, technical glitches, sometimes even deliberate manipulation. Finding and fixing discrepancies is vital for accuracy.
Are there statistical ways to spot discrepancies in big data sets?
Yes, various analytical methods are used for outlier detection and consistency checks.
Okay, next is discrete, adjective. Careful with spelling here. D-I-S-C-R-E-T-E.
Meaning separate, distinct.
Exactly. You might break a project into discrete phases, or talk about discrete variables in math.
How is that different from discrete with 2 E's?
Discrete. D-I-S-C-R-E-E-T means careful, cautious, maybe secretive, like handling sensitive information discreetly. Different spelling, different meaning. Got it. Discrete means separate. Discrete means cautious.
Good distinction.
Next, discriminating. Adjective.
Having refined judgment or taste, like the food critic with a discriminating palate.
Yes. Or discriminating investors choosing stocks carefully. Or discriminating readers selecting quality literature. It means making fine distinctions based on quality.
Is it possible to be too discriminating?
I suppose so. Could lead to being overly critical or never satisfied. Again, balance.
So it implies good judgment, not necessarily prejudice in this context.
Right. In this GRE context, it's usually about refined judgment, not unfair treatment, although that's another meaning of the root word discriminate.
Okay, important nuance.
Next, disingenuous. Adjective.
Insincere. Pretending to know less than you do.
Yes. Like an unconvincing apology that feels fake. Or a salesperson's fake praise. Dishonest political promises.
What are some signs someone might be disingenuous?
Maybe a mismatch between words and body language. Feigning ignorance. A lack of transparency. Evasiveness. Why would someone act disingenuous?
Often to manipulate, gain an advantage, avoid responsibility, or make themselves look better.
Okay. Next word. Disinterested. Adjective. Another one often confused.
Meaning unbiased, impartial, having no personal stake.
Exactly. A fair mediator resolving a dispute needs to be disinterested. A judge should be disinterested.
How is that different from uninterested?
Uninterested just means not interested, bored, lacking curiosity. Disinterested means impartial, neutral. Big difference. So you could be disinterested in the outcome, but still interested in the topic.
Yes, absolutely. Or you could be both disinterested and uninterested, I suppose.
Right. Important distinction for the GRE. Next, disjointed. Adjective.
Disconnected, not coherent.
Yes, a confusing movie plot might feel disjointed, or a presentation that jumps around illogically.
What causes disjointed writing or speaking?
Usually a lack of planning or structure. Poor transitions between ideas. Not having a clear central point. How can you make sure your own communication isn't disjointed?
Outlining helps a lot. Using clear transition words and phrases, sticking to a logical flow.
Okay. Next, dismiss. Verb.
To reject or allow to leave.
Both. A manager might dismiss an unfounded complaint. A teacher dismisses the class.
A judge can dismiss a case if there's no evidence. You might dismiss an idea as impractical.
What are the risks of dismissing a new idea too quickly?
You can miss a great opportunity, stifle innovation, discourage people from sharing ideas in the future.
Good point. Next word, disparage. Verb.
To belittle or put down, speak slightingly of,
Yes, criticizing a rival's work unfairly to make it seem less valuable.
or harming teamwork by disparaging colleagues. Unfair, negative online reviews disparage businesses.
What's the difference between constructive criticism and disparagement?
Constructive criticism aims to help improve, focusing on specific issues respectfully. Disparagement aims to demean and undermine, often using insults. Intent and tone matter.
How can you give criticism without disparaging?
Focus on behavior or work, not the person. Be specific. Suggest improvements. Use I statements. Keep it respectful.
Okay. Next word, disparate. Adjective.
Distinct, different, fundamentally unalike.
Yes. A team might have disparate opinions on the best strategy, or disparate cultures in a diverse workplace. Different data sources might be disparate.
What are the benefits of bringing together disparate viewpoints, say, on a team?
Can lead to more creativity, better problem solving, considering angles you might have missed, more robust outcomes, potentially.
Yeah.
But it can be challenging to manage, right?
Definitely. Requires good communication, facilitation, and a willingness to find common ground.
Next word, dispassionate. Adjective.
Unbiased, calm, lacking emotion. Rational.
Yes. An objective analysis of data should be dispassionate. Fair referees in sports try to be dispassionate.
Staying calm during arguments requires being dispassionate.
Is it always possible to be completely dispassionate, though?
Probably not entirely, especially with things we care about. But striving for a dispassionate approach helps minimize bias in analysis or decision-making.
How can someone train themselves to be more dispassionate when analyzing something?
Focus strictly on the facts and evidence. Acknowledge your emotions, but set them aside for the analysis. Play devil's advocate.
Good techniques. Next word. Dispatch. Noun or verb?
Speed and efficiency, or to send off quickly.
Both. A courier delivering a package with dispatch means they did it quickly. Emergency services dispatch ambulances.
Reporters dispatch stories quickly to meet deadlines. Logistics companies focus on efficient dispatch of goods.
What technologies help with efficient dispatch?
UPS tracking, communication systems, optimized routing software, lots of things.
Okay. Next word. Disperse. Verb.
To scatter or spread out.
Yes. Police might disperse a crowd. Seeds dispersed by wind. Protesters might disperse after a rally.
How else are seeds dispersed naturally?
Water can carry them. Animals can eat fruit and disperse seeds later. Some stick to fur. Lots of ways. What makes it hard to control the dispersal of invasive species?
They often spread very easily and quickly, adapting well to new places. Hard to contain them once established.
Right. Next, disposition. Noun.
Natural mood or tendency, personality.
Yes, someone might have a cheerful disposition or a tendency toward optimism. A teacher might have a patient disposition.
Can a person's disposition change over time?
I think so. While some traits might be stable, life experiences, personal growth, therapy, these can shift someone's overall disposition or outlook. How does temperament relate to disposition?
They're similar, but temperament often refers more to the innate biological aspects of personality present from early life. Disposition might be shaped more by experience.
Interesting. Next word. Disquieting. Adjective.
Disturbing, causing anxiety.
Yes. News of rising crime rates can be disquieting. A concerning medical diagnosis would be disquieting.
Suspenseful movie music is designed to be disquieting.
True. What are common sources of disquieting information today?
News about conflict, environmental issues, economic instability. The constant stream from media and social media can amplify that unease.
How can people manage feelings of disquiet from the news?
Limiting exposure helps some. Focusing on what you can control. Seeking out positive news too. Practicing mindfulness.
Good strategies. Next word. Dissemble. Verb.
To mislead or conceal the truth. Hide true feelings.
Yes. Hiding nervousness with a forced smile is dissembling. Poker players dissemble to hide their hands.
Politicians sometimes dissemble to avoid tough questions.
What are the ethical issues around dissembling?
Well, it's generally seen as dishonest, right? It erodes trust. While tact might sometimes involve not saying everything, active dissembling is usually frowned upon.
What ends if you get caught dissembling?
Damages your reputation, people won't trust you, serious consequences.
Okay, next word. Disseminate. Verb.
To spread information widely.
Exactly. An NGO might disseminate flyers about climate change. Schools disseminate schedules. Social media disseminates news and misinformation.
What are effective ways to disseminate information to a big audience? Using multiple channels helps: email, social media, websites, maybe print. Tailoring the message, making it clear, concise, engaging. Visuals help too.
What are the challenges in disseminating complex info accurately?
Simplifying without losing crucial detail, avoiding jargon, anticipating misunderstandings, ensuring the source is trusted.
Makes sense. Next word. Dissent. Verb or noun?
To disagree with a formal body, or the disagreement itself.
Yes. A judge might write a dissenting opinion if they disagree with the majority ruling. Citizens might dissent through protests.
Employees might dissent from new company policies they disagree with.
Why is the right to dissent considered important in a democracy?
It's fundamental, allows challenges to power, encourages critical thinking, can lead to positive change, holds leaders accountable, ensures diverse views are heard.
Can you think of historical examples where dissent led to big changes?
The civil rights movement in the U.S. is a huge one. The suffragette movement. Many scientific breakthroughs involve dissenting from established views.
Powerful examples. Next word. Dissolution. Noun.
Breaking up. Disintegration. Closing down.
Yes, the dissolution of a business partnership. The dissolution of the Soviet Union.
The dissolution of a marriage. Even personal struggles, like a descent into addiction, might be described as a kind of dissolution.
What's involved legally in the dissolution of a company?
Complex procedures for winding up affairs, paying debts, distributing assets according to laws.
Okay, next word, dissonance. Noun.
Harsh sound. Or disagreement. Lack of harmony.
Both. In music, dissonance is a clash of notes that sounds harsh or unstable.
And psychologically, cognitive dissonance is that discomfort you feel holding conflicting beliefs or attitudes.
Can musical dissonance actually be appealing sometimes?
Yes, composers use it deliberately to create tension, surprise, or specific emotional effects in many genres, from classical to jazz to rock.
How does cognitive dissonance usually make people feel?
Uncomfortable, stressed, mentally uneasy. It motivates people to try and resolve the inconsistency somehow.
Interesting. Next word, distaff. Adjective.
Relating to the female side of a family. Maternal line.
Yes. Family traditions passed down through the distaff side. Or tracing maternal ancestry and genealogy.
It also has historical links to women's work, right? Like spinning.
Exactly. The distaff was a tool used in spinning, traditionally women's work, so the term became symbolic of women, or the female line, often contrasted with the spear side for men.
Is the term distaff used much today?
Less in everyday chat, but you'll see it in historical context, genealogy, or maybe literature. Okay, next word, distend, verb.
To swell or expand due to internal pressure.
Yes, a stomach might distend after eating way too much. Balloons distend when filled with air.
And medically, a distended abdomen can be a sign of various issues like bloating or fluid buildup.
What are common, less serious causes of abdominal distension?
Just gas buildup or overeating often.
Right, next word, distill, verb.
To purify or extract the essence of something.
Both. You can distill water to purify it. Or an author might distill complex theories into a simple summary.
Extracting key insights from data is distilling. Summarizing a long meeting involves distilling the main points.
How can you effectively distill the key takeaways from a long article or book?
Identify the main argument, key supporting points, the conclusion. Summarize concisely in your own words. Focus on the core message.
What skills help with distilling information?
Good reading comprehension, critical thinking, synthesis, concise writing.
Okay, next word, dither, verb.
To act indecisively, hesitate.
Yes, someone might dither over choosing a college major or what to order at a restaurant.
It also has a technical meaning in image processing, right? Creating patterns of dots.
It does, but the main meaning is that hesitation. What are the downsides of dithering too much?
Missed opportunities, increased stress, frustration for others waiting on your decision, lack of progress.
What are some ways to overcome indecisiveness or dithering?
Setting deadlines for decisions, weighing pros and cons systematically, trusting your gut sometimes, breaking big decisions into smaller ones.
Good advice. Next word, diurnal, adjective.
Daily, or active during the day?
Yes. Birds singing in the morning are diurnal. Humans generally follow a diurnal pattern.
Squirrels are diurnal too. The opposite is nocturnal, active at night like owls or bats.
What are the advantages of being diurnal?
Well, daylight helps with vision for many species. Often warmer temperatures during the day, syncing with plant cycles for food.
Okay, next word, diverge, verb.
To differ or branch off.
Yes. Two roads might diverge in an intersection. People's opinions can diverge on how to solve a problem.
Species can diverge during evolution. Developing different traits, styles of art or music can diverge.
Is it always bad when opinions diverge in a group?
Not necessarily. It can lead to better discussion, exploring more possibilities. The key is managing the divergence constructively.
Okay, next word, divest, verb.
To strip of something or sell off assets.
Yes. A company might divest an unprofitable part of its business. Investors might divest stocks in certain industries.
Historically, someone might be divested of their title or rights.
What are some ethical reasons why investors might divest from certain companies or industries?
Concerns about environmental impact, human rights issues, involvement in harmful products like tobacco or weapons.
Okay, next word, divine, verb.
To discover through insight or supernatural means, guesswork.
Yes. Trying to divine someone's intentions just from their gestures. Or ancient practices like trying to divine the future.
Like using tarot cards or reading tea leaves.
Those would be examples of attempting divination. It implies finding something out through means other than rational deduction or direct observation.
Is intuition a reliable way to divine information? It can sometimes offer hints, but it's definitely not foolproof. Best combined with critical thinking and evidence.
Okay, next word. Doctrinaire. Adjective.
Rigidly applying doctrine or theory. Impractical.
Yes. A doctrinaire approach ignores real-world nuances and complexities. Policies might be doctrinaire if they stick to ideology regardless of practical outcomes.
Uncompromising political leaders might be called doctrinaire, or outdated teaching methods that ignore how students actually learn.
What are the pitfalls of being too doctrinaire?
Inflexibility, unwillingness to compromise, stifling innovation, creating ineffective solutions because you ignore reality.
How is being doctrinaire different from just having strong principles?
Strong principles can still allow for flexibility and nuance. Doctrinaire implies rigid, unthinking adherence, often dogmatically.
Got it. Next word. Document. Verb this time.
To support with evidence, record something.
Yes. A historian uses primary sources to document their claims. Scientists carefully document their experiments.
Businesses document agreements and contracts. You might document your travel expenses for reimbursement.
Why is thorough documentation so important in research?
Ensures transparency, allows others to replicate the study, provides a clear record, builds credibility. It's fundamental to the scientific method.
What makes for good documentation?
Clarity, accuracy, completeness, organization, being easy to understand.
Okay, next word. Doff. Verb.
To take off clothing, especially a hat, as a gesture.
Yes. Removing a hat as a sign of respect or greeting, you might doff your cap.
It feels a bit old-fashioned now.
It's a less common, especially the hat part, but the word still exists. You might still hear about doffing a jacket. It's a gesture of courtesy or removing something.
What are other nonverbal ways to show respect?
A respectful nod, bowing in some cultures, making eye contact appropriately. Okay, next word. Dogma. Noun.
Establish belief or principles, laid down as incontrovertibly true.
Yes. Religious dogma consists of core beliefs, but dogma can exist outside religion too, like rigid political beliefs.
Scientific progress often involves challenging established dogmas, right?
Absolutely. Why is questioning dogma so important in science and academia?
It's essential for progress, allows reevaluation, new discoveries, correcting errors. Without questioning, fields stagnate.
What are some famous scientific dogmas that were eventually overturned?
The idea that the Earth was the center of the universe, geocentrism, is a huge one. The belief in spontaneous generation.
Right. Next word. Dormant. Adjective.
Inactive or asleep. Functions suspended.
Yes. A volcano that hasn't erupted in a long time is dormant. An inactive bank account might be called dormant.
Animals hibernating in winter are in a dormant state. Seeds can lie dormant in the soil for years.
It's a survival strategy, isn't it? Conserving energy during unfavorable conditions.
Exactly.
What typically triggers something to come out of dormancy?
Changes in environment usually. Warmer temperatures, more water, or light, depending on the organism.
Okay, next word. Dovetail. Verb.
To fit together neatly and conveniently.
Yes. Your skills might dovetail perfectly with the job requirements. Two different plans might dovetail seamlessly.
It comes from the woodworking joint, right? Which fits together very strongly.
It does. What are the benefits when team members' skills dovetail?
Create synergy. The team is stronger than the sum of its parts. People complement each other's strengths and weaknesses. Leads to better results.
How can you figure out how different skills might dovetail on a project?
Good assessment of everyone's abilities and clear communication about roles and how they interconnect.
Okay. Next word. Droll. Adjective.
Funny in an odd or quirky way. Dry amusement.
Yes, droll remarks can lighten a tense situation. A droll sense of humor is often understated and witty.
It's that deadpan delivery sometimes. Where the humor comes from, the absurdity said matter-of-factly.
Exactly. Irony and understatement are often key.
Can droll humor be hard for some people to get?
Sometimes, yeah. It can be subtle and rely on shared understanding. Not everyone appreciates dry wit. Okay, next word. Dubious. Adjective.
Doubtful or questionable.
Suspect.
Yes, a product of dubious quality. A claim that sounds too good to be true is probably dubious.
Suspicious investment opportunities, unreliable online sources making dubious claims.
What are some red flags for a dubious online offer?
Vague details, pressure to act fast, requests for personal info up front, unprofessional website, promises that seem unrealistic.
How can you verify something that seems dubious? Research the source, look for independent reviews, check with consumer protection agencies, trust your gut if it feels off.
Good advice. Next word. Dupe. Verb or noun?
To fool someone, or a person easily fooled.
Yes. Scammers try to dupe people into sharing personal information or sending money.
Phishing scams are designed to dupe you. Historical con artists were masters of duping people.
What makes someone susceptible to being duped?
Sometimes it's being too trusting or uninformed. Scammers also prey on emotions like fear, greed, or loneliness. Anyone can potentially be duped in the right circumstances.
It's important to stay vigilant. Next word. Duplicity. Noun.
Deceit or double dealing, hypocrisy.
Yes. Making conflicting promises to different colleagues shows duplicity. Corporate dishonesty. Betrayal in relationships often involves duplicity.
What are some examples of duplicity in a professional setting? Sabotaging a coworker secretly while pretending to be supportive, misrepresenting facts to a client, taking credit for someone else's work.
What are the long-term consequences of having a reputation for duplicity?
People won't trust you. It damages relationships, hinders collaboration, and can ruin your career.
Okay. Next word. Dyspeptic. Adjective.
Grumpy or irritable, having indigestion.
Both meanings are linked. A dyspeptic attitude makes meetings unpleasant. Someone might be dyspeptic due to stress.
Is there really a connection between indigestion and mood?
There's a strong gut-brain connection. Digestive issues can definitely contribute to irritability or a low mood for some people.
So a bad-tempered boss might literally have stomach issues.
Could be, though some people are just grumpy.
What commonly causes dyspepsia? The indigestion part.
Diet is a big one. Eating too fast, fatty foods. Stress is another major trigger. Okay, next item is EG, the abbreviation.
Meaning, for example, Latin, exempli gratia.
Right, use it to introduce examples. Fruits, AG, apples and bananas. When is it appropriate in writing?
Formal and academic writing mostly.
Yeah.
To illustrate a point with one or two examples, remember it's different from IE.
Right, IE means that is, and is for clarification or restatement. What punctuation follows EG?
Usually a comma. Those styles can vary slightly.
Okay, next word. Ebullient. Adjective.
Very enthusiastic or lively, cheerful and full of energy.
Yes. Someone with an ebullient personality lights up a room. Excited fans at a concert might be ebullient.
Feeling joyful after getting great news would make you ebullient.
How does an ebullient person typically act?
Lots of energy, big smiles, animated conversation, general positivity and excitement. Bubbly, maybe.
Okay, next word. Eccentric. Adjective.
And peculiar or odd. Unconventional and slightly strange.
Yes, an eccentric professor with unusual teaching methods or habits. Unconventional artists are often seen as eccentric.
Is eccentricity always negative?
Not at all. Often linked with creativity, originality, independent thinking. Eccentric people can be fascinating, as long as their behavior isn't harmful. What's the line between eccentric and just plain rude?
Intent and impact again. Eccentricity is usually harmless quirkiness. Rudeness is intentionally disrespectful or hurtful.
Got it. Next word. Echelon. Noun.
A level or rank.
Yes, in an organization, profession, or society. Rising to the upper echelons of management.
Military command levels are echelons, top tiers of society.
What kind of characteristics do people in the higher echelons often have?
Usually expertise, leadership skills, strategic thinking, experience, strong networks.
How do responsibilities differ between echelons?
Higher echelons usually mean broader responsibility, more strategic focus, less hands-on task work.
Okay, next word. Eclectic. Adjective.
Selecting from diverse sources, having varied tastes.
Yes, eclectic musical tastes liking rock, classical, jazz, and folk. Eclectic interior design mixing different styles.
A broad eclectic academic curriculum draws from many disciplines.
What are the benefits of an eclectic approach to learning or problem solving?
Can foster creativity, bring fresh perspectives, lead to more comprehensive understanding by drawing on diverse ideas, encourages flexible thinking.
What fields particularly value an eclectic approach?
Creative fields like art, design, music, interdisciplinary studies, even cooking can be eclectic.
True. Next word. Eclipse, noun or verb.
To obscure or make less important, like a solar eclipse.
Exactly. The noun is the astronomical event. The verb means to overshadow or surpass something or someone.
A new talent might eclipse a previously famous star. A major world event might eclipse other news stories. A competitor's product eclipses yours in sales.
Were historical solar eclipses seen as significant?
Hugely. Often interpreted as omens, influencing battles, politics, religious beliefs, caused awe and fear before they were scientifically understood.
Okay. Next word. Edify. Verb.
To uplift or instruct morally or intellectually.
Yes. A sermon might aim to edify the congregation about kindness, A documentary might edify viewers on a social issue. Motivational books aim to edify.
Can something be entertaining and edifying?
Definitely, often the best way. Think of stories with morals, inspiring films, even educational games. They teach or uplift through engagement. What are some examples of entertainment you find edifying?
Maybe thoughtful dramas that make you reflect on life, or historical pieces that teach you something new while telling a story.
Good examples. Next word. Efficacy. Noun.
Effectiveness. The ability to produce a desired result.
Precisely. The efficacy of a vaccine is proven through trials. We might discuss the efficacy of different study techniques or advertising campaigns.
What affects the efficacy of, say, a medical treatment?
Lots of things. The dose, whether the patient takes it correctly, the severity of the illness, individual biology, it's complex. That's why rigorous testing is needed. How is efficacy measured in studies?
Often with statistics, comparing results in the treatment group versus the control group, measuring specific outcomes.
Okay, next word. Effigy. Noun.
A model or image, often crude, used to mock someone.
Yes. Protesters burning an effigy of a disliked leader is a classic example.
What's the symbolism there? Why burn an effigy?
It's a visual representation of anger and rejection. Destroying the effigy symbolizes destroying or rejecting the power or influence of the person it represents. It's a strong statement. Are effigies always used negatively in protests?
Not always. Sometimes they feature in cultural festivals or rituals with different meanings, but often in politics, it's protest.
Okay, next word. Effrontery. Noun.
Shameless boldness, insolence, audacity.
Yes, interrupting the CEO during a major presentation would be effrontery. Cutting blatantly in line, making outrageously disrespectful remarks.
It suggests a complete lack of respect for boundaries or authority. Right. Audacious nerve.
Exactly. How is effrontery different from just being assertive?
Assertiveness is confidently stating your needs or views respectfully. Effrontery is disrespectful, often aggressive, and violates norms.
Got it. Next word. Egalitarian.
Adjective.
Believing in equality. That all people deserve equal rights and opportunities.
Yes. An egalitarian society strives for fairness. Egalitarian policies aim to ensure fair treatment. Collaborative leadership can be egalitarian.
What are the challenges in creating a truly egalitarian society? Huge challenges, deeply ingrained biases, systemic inequalities, historical disadvantages. Plus, people disagree on what true equality means and how to achieve it.
What are some policies aimed at promoting egalitarianism? Equal opportunity laws, anti-discrimination laws, progressive taxation systems, universal access to education or healthcare.
Okay, next word. Egregious. Adjective.
Really bad. Outstandingly bad. Shocking. Glaring.
Yes, egregious safety violations at a factory, egregious errors in a critical report. Major fouls in sports can be egregious.
Egregious breaches of ethics. It really emphasizes how bad something is, right? Conspicuously bad.
Exactly. Is very bad a strong enough synonym?
It gets the basic idea, but egregious carries that extra weight of being shockingly, glaringly bad.
Okay, next word. Egress.
Noun.
An exit, the act of leaving.
Yes. Fire codes require clear means of egress from buildings. Emergency exits are egress routes.
Crowd management at events needs to consider safe egress.
What things can block or impede egress in an emergency?
Blocked hallways, locked doors, poor signage, overcrowding, panic, all very dangerous.
What safety features help with egress?
Clearly marked exits, emergency lighting, fire doors, evacuation plans, keeping routes clear.
Crucial stuff. Next word. Elated. Adjective. Very happy, ecstatic, overjoyed.
Yes. Feeling elated after getting a dream job offer or winning a competition. Graduation celebrations often involve elated feelings.
What does being elated look like? Physically.
Big smiles, high energy, maybe jumping up and down. Animated speech, a general sense of joy and excitement. How long does that feeling usually last?
It's often intense but temporary, right? Eventually settles back down.
True. Next word. Elegy. Noun.
A sorrowful poem or song, especially for the dead. A lament.
Yes. A poem written for a deceased friend would be an elegy. Famous funeral poems are often elegies. Memorial tributes can take elegiac forms.
What kind of themes do elegies usually explore? Loss, grief, remembrance, the passage of time, the nature of life and death. Sometimes they offer consolation or celebrate the person's life too.
How is an elegy different from other memorial writing?
It's specifically a poem or song, often with a reflective, serious tone and sometimes a formal structure.
Okay, next word. Elevate.
Verb. To raise or lift up, physically or figuratively.
Both. A promotion elevates your position. Exercise can elevate your mood. Education can elevate your career prospects. Inspiring art can elevate the spirit.
So it implies improvement, lifting to a higher level.
Yes, in status, mood, quality, or importance.
How can a simple action figuratively elevate a situation?
Maybe an act of kindness elevates the tone of an interaction, or an insightful comment elevates the level of discussion. Good examples. Next word, elicit, verb.
To bring forth or evoke, draw out a response.
Yes. A joke elicits laughter. Surveys elicit feedback. Thoughtful questions in an interview elicit detailed answers.
What are some good ways to elicit honest feedback from people? Create a safe space where they won't be judged. Ask open-ended, neutral questions. Listen actively. Anonymous surveys can help too.
How do you avoid accidentally eliciting a specific type of response you might be hoping for? Leading the witness.
Frame questions neutrally. Avoid loaded language. Don't signal what answer you want.
Okay, next word. Eloquent, adjective.
Fluent and persuasive in speech or writing. Articulate.
Yes, an inspiring graduation speech is eloquent. A well-written, persuasive essay can be eloquent. Leaders known for powerful speeches are often eloquent.
What makes communication eloquent? Clarity, strong vocabulary used well, good organization, engaging delivery if spoken, maybe connecting emotionally with the audience. It flows beautifully.
Can someone be eloquent in writing, but maybe not so much in speaking?
Oh, for sure. The skills overlap but aren't identical. Some people express themselves better on paper, others shine when speaking.
Okay, next word. Emaciate. Verb.
To become very thin due to illness or lack of food, waste away.
Yes. A patient might become emaciated after a long, severe illness or during a famine. It's a sign of severe malnutrition.
What are the visible signs of emaciation? Very thin, prominent bones, loss of muscle, looking generally weak and wasted. It's a serious condition.
What are the health consequences?
Weakened immune system, organ damage, extreme fatigue. Very dangerous.
Okay, next word. Embellish. Verb.
To decorate or to exaggerate a story.
Both. An artist might embellish a design with gold leaf. Someone might embellish a story about their vacation by adding untrue, exciting details.
What are the ethics of embellishing a story? Adding minor flavor in casual chat might be okay, but deliberately adding falsehoods is misleading, especially in serious contexts like a resume or report. Accuracy matters.
What's the difference between embellishing and just being descriptive?
Description aims for vivid accuracy. Embellishment often adds extra, non-essential, sometimes false details, either for decoration or exaggeration.
Okay, and our final word for this deep dive. Eminent. Adjective.
Famous and respected, prominent in a field.
Exactly. An eminent scientist receiving a Nobel Prize. A respected professor who is eminent in their field. Famous landmarks can even be called eminent.
What shows that someone is eminent? Recognition from peers, major contributions, awards, influential publications, leadership roles. They're highly regarded for their expertise.
And how is being eminent different from being notorious?
Eminence means respected fame. Notoriety means fame for bad reasons. Big difference. Right. That covers our 100 words for today.
It does. That concludes our in-depth exploration. We really hope this detailed analysis, focusing on meanings, examples, and how these words work in the real world, has been a valuable step in boosting your English proficiency.
Absolutely. Remember, mastering these words isn't just about flashcards. It's about understanding them deeply and feeling confident using them yourself.
Yeah, listen for them when you read and watch things, and try incorporating them into your speaking and writing.
We aimed for clarity and context, trying to make these potentially tricky words feel more accessible and memorable. They're tools for more precise communication.
They really are. Well, thank you for joining us in the Learn English Lab.
And we encourage you to like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel.
Yes, please do. It helps us keep creating resources to support your English learning journey. Until next time.
Bye for now.